We go again. Oh, I've been very late to start today. Just exhausted and got to get things clean though. My father-in-law's birthday is today, so we're going over there to celebrate. So got to get this room cleaned and finish with laundry and all of the other Sunday chores. But yeah, so we'll see how far we get. Oh, I'm going to get it all done. We're not leaving until like 11:30ish, but I'm just tired. And yeah, we'll see. Got water yesterday, jug behind me. One thing I've noticed with YouTubers is, or at least the reptile YouTubers I watch, I don't watch too many others to be honest, but they're always so awake and like, I take that back. I've seen a couple that's not awake, but they're all very cheerful. I'm just gonna be honest, I'm tired today. if it wasn't that I had to clean, I wouldn't be on YouTube right now. But like I made a comment a few weeks back, if I'm going to be cleaning, going to be doing stuff, might as well be on YouTube to show what I am besides some random person that's just like posting snakes for sale. Ooh. Look at what we have here. I'm going to put it against black so maybe you can see the head. But we have someone in shed. You see? Yeah. You might actually be able to see. Yeah, I think you might actually see better without the hide. But yeah. So, maybe in a couple days I'll get a picture of him with fresh shed. He is still available. It's surprising to me that he is still available, but if you're interested, as you can see, he's in shed and I'm still able to hold him. But in a few days I'll get a picture of him when he sheds out and yeah, show off him in his best color. As always, if I'm not on camera and I disappear for a little bit while I'm cleaning the water dish, I'll come back and then show the next snake. So if you're interested in seeing the rest of the snakes, stay tuned. I'll be back in less than a minute. And as promised, less than a minute, I'm back. 5 of y'all are still here. Alright, let me get the snakes some water and then I'll get the next snakes. After this, if you are interested in seeing my Redfoot tortoise enclosure, check out yesterday's live. I showed off their outdoor enclosure that I have for them. Alright. Now, before I clean that one, let me show these others off. I gotta clean that tub, so I'm leaving it turned out. But, in the meantime, show these guys off. So this one right here, that little guy, he's a male and available 2023. That's how small they are. Obviously, I'm going to be cleaning these out today, but showing them all off while somebody's watching. This, she's hidden under the leaf litter, is a 2021 female Viper Boa. She is also available on Morph Market as a trio with all three of these. But this is by far the coolest Viper Boa. Captive born and bred, bright yellow. I'll take that back. Not really bright yellow, but yellow phase, but very light colored, not dark, besides the little strips. But yeah, put her back. Yep. And then finally, the last of the trio. Oh look, she's in her water dish. Let me get out of the light. Yeah, that'll probably help. So, the last of the trio. She is also a 2021 captive born and bred female. So, female, female, male. But, yeah, so if you're interested, they are available on Morph Market. They are all captive born and bred. And will make great for second generation. Their first generation, all from different wild caught parents. So, if you're looking for starting a Gen 2 project, there you go. But now back to this. And I have not checked Medusa this morning, so I might have eggs over there. Maybe. I'll see in a minute. Let's see. No, I'm way off on the calculations. The last few times she's given birth, she's laid in May. I'm guessing maybe her and Neptune started late this year. I had them paired together longer, but yeah, sometime this month maybe. I'm not too concerned. They were together for a little bit longer and did take a while to latch, whereas previously they latched in December and January. This time they didn't really latch until around end of January, February, so that kind of makes sense. So this is F10 spray that I'm using to sanitize the tub. So right now the only ones in the tubs are ones that are available for sale. All of the ones that are my pets are in the bigger enclosures, which I'll get to next. That basically, if I turn the camera just slightly so you can see, there's 3 4x2 by, let's see, 18, and then 2x4 by 3, and then these are 2x2 by 6s. This is 2x2 by 5s, and then more 2x2 by 6s. And then out in the living room also have 2x2 by 6s. How do I tighten this? Sorry guys, I don't like how loose this thing is. Maybe I just need to spin it. There you go. Sorry about that. Hope y'all don't get dizzy. Do you only do Viper boas? No, I do Viper boas, so that's what you saw. I have a blackhead available. Those 4 are the only ones I have available right now until I have more this year. I'm expecting Cocker Cay, Hog Island, and then black-headed pythons. I'm expecting those this year. Next year, I'm taking a year off from breeding because I get a lot of my babies in the summertime, and we're planning a vacation next year that I don't want to stress about how's my animals doing. So just taking the full year off and come back the next year and, hit the ground running. But I've been looking for hogs. Yeah, I'm sold out of the hogs, but I will be. This enclosure over here that is dark right now, the light comes on in a little bit, but if you see down here, she's right there. She's Gravit right here. If you can see my finger, yeah, she's Gravit, and I'm expecting in August. Sorry, if that air purifier filter, whatever. If that's too loud, let me know so I can turn it off. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, so she'll be having babies in August, and then I don't typically give mine away right away. I like to grow them out so that they're eating frozen thawed, and not just, hey, they had 1 or 2 meals frozen thawed. I want them eating consistently frozen thawed. If it was another breeder that breeds their own brats or something, I might consider giving away to that individual before, just because, hey, they're used to it, they know what they're doing. But when I was it'd be my first book. Yeah, dude. Totally wait. Make sure that whether you get it from me or whomever you get it to, because like mine won't be available probably until, realistically, without getting your hopes up, next year. Because like I said, I like to get them really going, start strong for my customers. But best case scenario, all the things fall in the right place, they'd be available in around December. But all things have to fall into place, weather, then for shipping and stuff. So I typically just wait until the following year to list mine. But whoever you get it from, make sure, if this is your first snake and you don't have live rats or mice, get them frozen thawed. Make sure that they're eating. A lot of times, what I've seen and I've dealt with personally buying snakes, they say, oh yeah, they're eating frozen thawed. They come, I do all my research. I make sure the temperatures are right, the humidity's right. I don't mess with the snake for, until they have their first meal, but they won't eat right away. They take like a month and a half to get them eating. And I've even had some that I had to go to live to get them to the frozen thawed. So I'm like, was the person lying to me? I don't know. I'm not going to call him a liar, but it's strange. But I've had, in that same case, I've had customers that I've sold to that I've had my snakes eating, and then they're like, hey dude, it's not eating. I'm like, oh, here's a YouTube video, because one of the things I do is I record my feedings and my babies. That way I can show, hey, this is exactly how I do it. I thaw out the rat in the morning, I give it in the afternoon, this is how it looks when I'm giving it to them, this is how the snake reacts. Because some snakes want you to, take the rat and wiggle it. Some snakes want you to, they don't want you to do anything. They just grab it right away. Some snakes, my blackheads, for example, I put the snake in there, or the rat in there, and come back the next day and it's gone. So all I'm getting at is make sure that the snake is eating frozen thawed, because trying to find live feeders every 2 weeks is a pain in the butt. And if you don't breed rats or mice, you don't want to get into it. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of cost to it, and they smell really bad. I like snakes because honestly, they don't smell that bad. Even when they poop, I have a poop right here that I'm gonna get to in a little bit. Can you see that? I don't smell it. Right now, Bioactive helps with that, but yeah. Let's see what else. So I just ordered 2x18x18. How long would a hog be okay in that before I need to larger enclosure? That's a great question. 2x18x18, I can't say for sure, but let me show you this one. This is a 2x4x18. 18, yeah. So it's 18 foot tall, but 2 foot deep, so just 6 inches deeper. However, I have my adult male hog island in here. He's going to go down there in that 6 footer, but I have to, excuse me. Yeah, he's going in the 6 footer, and then my male's going in the 5 footer up there. I just have to get him ready. I've moved Melody, which is my Kalatoa. If I point right here, you can see her. She's in the leaves. I don't know if that will actually show up. Sorry. Yeah, you can see her head right there. I had her down here and I moved her up here. So now I need to aerate the soil, get new plants in there. But yeah, so once I get that done, then I'll be moving him down. But he's been in here for 2-3 years. So you should be good for at least 2 years if you get a male. If you get a female, they grow a little bit bigger, but we're still talking, they're dwarf boas. If you're not overpower feeding them, they're not going to get big. If you overpower feed them, they'll get big, but not as big as like your mainlanders, but you will have health problems because they're going to be obese. So feed them. If you go on my website, I actually have a care sheet with recommended feedings. This is a recommendation because everybody, just like people, are different with their metabolism. So is snakes. So you keep an eye on them. Sometimes you're going to feed them, an extra meal in between feedings, or you're going to extend the feeding time so it's a little bit longer because they need to lose some weight. So it's just something you got to keep an eye on, and you'll see if your snake's fat or skinny. It starts to get obvious, and if not, you can post on Facebook. You can reach out to the breeder, like, hey, how's my snake looking, right? If your breeder doesn't want to respond, like, you're a customer and they're not responding, there's something wrong with that. But you can reach out, find out, hey, how's my snake looking? Should I stick with the regimen or not? But check out my website. There's care sheets on there for that. But yeah, the enclosure size, I'd say, is great for starting and all the way up until adult. Now, I will say, watching Boas, as you can see, she's stretched all the way out right there, down right there. They do move, so I would expect you would want a bigger enclosure simply for so it's for the snake to move around, but for your enjoyment of watching the snake move around as well, is why enclosures are nice. So it's good for now. I'd say maybe in 3 shears, you could consider upgrading if you wanted to. But if it's a male and you do a nice bit of like decorating and whatnot, probably would be all right, especially if you're taking them out and handling them regularly, letting them get some exercise. So yeah, that should be good for a little while, but definitely look at getting more space because it'll bring personal enjoyment, I believe, if you get to see your animal exploring their entire cage. To tend to side on the lean food is more, less food is more. In the reptile community, I'd agree with that statement because so many people are overfeeding. Hi. All right, give me a second, bud. I'm talking. Okay, my son wants to show his dragon off. He's working on a Lego dragon. All right, go put it back on the table so the pieces don't fall. So yeah, less is more. It's so easy. Sorry, he left the door open. I don't like the door left open of my reptile room. Did you put that on the table? Go put it on the table so it doesn't. Did you put it on the table in the dining room? All right, go put it on the table, put it in the box, and then you can come back. I don't want Legos all over the place, Where was I? Less food, yeah. Less food's more. Yes, I figure smaller is better for the baby. Not necessarily. I actually got a lot of my 6-foot enclosures before I got my babies, and then I bought them and I brought them in here. So I would say it really depends on how you decorate your enclosure. Let me turn around so I go to one that has lighting, because those don't have lighting come on for another hour. And I do that just to slowly increase the brightness in the room throughout the day. And then also at the end of the day, it's kind of like this goes off. I turn the main light off and then that light goes off. My son hurt his wrist jumping off of the bed. But he's able to use both hands now. He wanted to make sure y'all know that. But as you can see, so you can I have cork bark over here. I have trees and bushes over here. And if you can see, there's actually my 7-foot black-headed python right there, which you can see is kind of hard to tell. But giving them hiding options.
And that's Diamond.
As a baby, yes, that's Diamond. Giving options as a baby with more hides is better. So over here, for example, I only have one little hide on the hot side because they tend to not use hides. And then I have a few over here on this side that are cork bark. But if you provide those options using the little, have extra hides, because as they grow bigger, I increase their size. So I start with small hides. As you saw in my Viper boa enclosure, it's tiny because the Viper boa barely fits in there. They like to be snugged, right? It's like when you're laying in bed and you wrap yourself with a blanket. You don't want the blanket way out here. Sure, it's providing warmth, but you want it close. Same thing as snakes. So as they get bigger, sorry, my son's shaking the camera. As they get bigger, increase the tub size. but you don't want it so big that they're not, like, they still feel vulnerable, right? A little baby's over here, there's still a lot of space that is vulnerable to them. So just at 4 foot, add a bunch of small little hides, cork bark, plastic ones. I personally started off with cork bark because I was like, oh, I want to love the natural look. Now that I've been doing this for a while, I prefer the plastic hides because I can clean them. The cork bark, when they put a urate on there, you can pop the urate off in between the cork bark, but you're not getting that clean. You can go out and scrub it, you may end up breaking the cork bark, these are just really nice to be able to clean. I can scrape them using tools, I can get it clean, sanitize it outside with bleach. I don't know how well cork bark bleach, I won't do it with the cork bark, but these I can clean really good.
We have a blueberry tree and tomatoes and
We
stuff growing out there.
We have blueberry tree and tomatoes growing outside.
And
Are those black box cages? No, these are all AP cages. I have the old style and the new style. I personally prefer the original style. At first, the new style, once it wears in, I like those more because it does provide the air gap. But the new style, which actually can show y'all right here, let me put this back. So, this new style, they have a ledge on this part that this slides into. This is the wrong one. Let me scoot this back. That this slides into. But with it sliding in there, there's no room for error, really. So you have to get it just right for the lock over here to actually position correctly. So when you first get them, it's a pain. They don't line up well. It's not that they're not made well. They're made well. The problem is it hasn't been used. It hasn't been worn a little bit. After about a year now, it's not a big of an issue, but when I first got them, I was like, man, I wasted all my money on these. But now they're great. The original style as well doesn't have this little lip that allows airflow to come in between if you have them stacked right next to each other. I don't. I actually provide big gaps in between mine so I can put fans and provide actual airflow. That's how I like it. I use Bioactive. If you're not using Bioactive, probably not as needed, but with Bioactive, if you don't have airflow, you get stagnation, you end up getting fungus and mold. But AP cages, I also find them to be the most reliable. Let me go and explain why. You might find some smaller, sorry, I keep touching the thing, it's wiggling, probably it's uncomfortable. I found smaller builders, for example, that will be cheaper, will be quicker, right? They have a good starting up reputation, but you don't know what they are, right? Their finances. You buy a reptile from somebody, hey, that reptile's coming as soon as the weather's good. You don't buy a reptile before the eggs are even laid, right? You wait until the eggs are laid, the babies come, the baby's eating, then you pay money and get the reptile once, weather permitting. Building, you're paying up front. There's normally a wait, then they build it, then they ship it in an ideal scenario. However, there is a builder that I've actually used. I had a delay. They had a delay. They had another delay and another delay for my outdoor enclosure for my tortoises. Finally, I was calling. They happen to live in the city I live in, so it's like, I know where you live. Like, literally gave me. So I just like, oh, come on over. They're out of business now, and it went bad. Like, they owed people money. So I knew their address if I had to go, hey, give me my money, give me my enclosure, whatever. Didn't turn to that. They came, set it up. Was not what I ordered. I ordered one with doors opening up. They delivered one doors laying down. I asked for shelving so I could put a heat panel on. They didn't do that. I ended up putting shelving myself for putting a heat panel. So overall, I'd say I would not recommend them. I don't have to not recommend them anymore because they're out of business. But I went back after several years of having that enclosure. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, they made a few mistakes that I didn't like. They took a little bit longer, but the enclosure overall is nice. I want to get a bigger tortoise. Let me see what they got for bigger options. I couldn't find their website. Went to Facebook. All I found was posts about them. And then through reading the post, found out that they went out of business. They left people, like people paid them, right? They had a large backlog. They shut down and said, hey, you need to go talk to our lawyers. People would go talk to their lawyers and say, hey, they're out of business, they have no funds. And they were SOL. So the long story short, go with AP Cage because they've been in business for years, like tens of 20, 30 years. I don't know how long, but long enough to have a reputation that they make good enclosures. They do deliver. They just deliver very long times because they're wait list. And the last thing I'll say is if you get a 6 foot, 5 foot enclosure and you plan on being bioactive mostly for the 6 foot, let me see if I can show it over here. There's a support arch. Go that way. That comes down. You want that support. The first ones I bought, they did not have that. They don't put it on their website. I think they do now, but they didn't then. And I actually had to buy a PVC pipe that I shoved in there to support. Hey, Leo, you can't be on camera, bud. You're in a diaper. PVC pipe that I basically had a wedge in there straight to provide the support from the bottom where I had the what are they called? The wheels. I can't think of their names, but the wheel to the ground, the support all the way up like a column in a building, because the weight of the bioactive substrate plus the enclosures end up bowing the enclosure out, and then you couldn't slide the glass because it was scraping on the little plastic pieces here. So you have a center plastic piece. So I did that to provide the support, and I reached out to them and told them, hey, y'all may want to think something. They said, oh, yeah, for people that are doing that, we have supports. And I was like, oh. So the next time I bought from them, I got them to see them, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. It provides the support I'm talking about. It looks much better than the ugly PVC pipe that I have just through it. But I have the PVC pipe, so like if you're looking straight on, you can't see it because it's right behind this black piece. But if you look from the sides, you can see it. But yeah, since Black Box is closing, I got theirs on. Oh, okay. So yeah, I don't know. Well, then look through the enclosures, bud. Look, Luna's over there. Look, Luna's over there. Go look at Luna. She's out, and the lights turned on finally. I don't know Black Box, but if you're able to get their stuff on clearance and actually you like get it, that's awesome. That's for the buyer. That's like the best case scenario, right? As the seller, it kind of stinks. You're going out of business. Things didn't work out, but you know it could be worse that nobody even wants to buy your clearance stuff. So being able to get something on clearance, you're at least trying to break even or make a little bit. I'd say the industry, if you can break even, you're doing pretty good. I'm still below. I have not broken even, but these are mostly my hobby. So, you know, some people work on cars and spend tens of thousands on cars. So, you know, everybody has their own hobby. I'll probably build a PVC 2x2x4. 4 is what I'm thinking. You know, if you get their own PVC, you can. What I've done is when they bring the enclosures, they use PVC to also like build their pallets. So when you get the 6 foot enclosure and start getting bigger, they freight ship it, but they package it with extra PVC that they use for like siding to protect the enclosures. I've saved all that and I've cut it down. I've gotten pieces that were damaged in shipping that I'm like, reach out to them. This is also why I like them. I reach out to them. I show the evidence, like, here's the damages, right? Clear as day. There's nothing I can do. And like the damages I'm talking about was like the sides here were broken. So if this is broken, you can't close it properly. You don't have a secure cage. That one thing can ruin everything. So they sent replacement parts for that. So now the pieces that are left, I'm not going to throw it in the trash. I took those and I made more, I wouldn't call it enclosure snakes, but like my hideout, my tortoise thing, I've made shelving. So for the geckos in the living room, I've added shelving just from the scraps that are left over, essentially. Yeah, it is pretty easy to work with. You know, I don't have any special tools. You know, I used a circular saw that I'd used to cut my wood, and Yeah, it's good. It's messy. It does get very messy, at least it's black PVC, but easy to work with. Kids just in and out. Anything else before I'm going to get back to work? But my biggest thing, it sounds like you're on the right path and you're smart enough up here to make stuff. What? Don't stand on that.
In the car while you're
No, it's going to be. I don't have my watch on me, but it's going to be several hours before we leave. He's ready to go to Grandpa's because it's my father-in-law's birthday today, so we're going to a birthday party later. That's all you need. A router. Yeah, a router would make things a lot nicer, especially if you're trying to do curves and different type of things besides just flat, straight edges. But still, you make it work. What was I going to say? Oh, but back to your original thing. Most important thing, make sure the snake's eating frozen thawed successfully when you get your boa, because otherwise it's going to be a pain. Now, not impossible to find depending on where you're at. Like, we have a lot of live areas around here, but one of the problems that come with live is parasites. When you freeze it, your parasite issue kind of goes away. You feed live, you're introducing worms, parasites that can bother your snake. Then you have vet bill, or if I'm not going to give any vet recommendations, but you can find dewormer at Tractor Supply. Just know they don't have reptile dewormer, so you need to do your research and determine, hey, what do I need to do to get this into the right percentage that is safe for reptile based on my reptile's weight. That's typically why you go to a veterinarian, because they have the right dilution already ready for dewormer, and they have stuff that's a little bit more geared towards reptiles. But if you're tired of, you have a lot of snakes like me, you start to go a few times and have these questions with your vet and discuss these things, you start to learn a thing or two. Let's see. Do you see a personality difference between male and female and hogs? Honestly, between my two, no. They're pretty chill, but I wouldn't say that is universal, right? Like, every snake varies. Give me the glove. Give me the glove. Do you want it on? You need to relax and put your hand in. There. Put your hand in. There you go. There you go. All right. Got upset because he couldn't get the glove on his hand. These gloves don't fit 2-year-old hands. My other son's freaking out for something, but that's mom's out there. Personality-wise, all snakes are different. Males, females, species. Andy? What?
Mommy said that to me.
No, she did not.
She did.
Whatever. What's the problem? Okay, what's the problem? What's the problem?
So,
I heard you screaming out there.
Did he say I hit him?
He surely did.
Oh, he is a little.
Oh, I know he is.
He's mad because he wants a Z-bar, and I told him no.
How about you go eat breakfast?
Breakfast scramble, and is about to pan and cut my whole head off in this door.
Yeah. Toddlers. But yeah, snakes are very. I'm on. Yeah. I was going to show Neptune bites and holds on, so when I handle him, I actually use welding gloves to handle him. My female, which is same species, no problem at all. So I don't think it's a male or female thing. Now, Andy, get out. I am talking. If you're going to whine, get out of my room. Get out. I don't care. Get out. Obviously, it's too early for a snack. Don't get on there, Leo. You're going to break it. We don't. Oh. Give me 1 second. My son is not. Wait. Young man. 5 squats. Let's go. You don't get stuff anymore. Leo. Get out. Out, Leo. Yeah, you're not supposed to put things in my water. Now that water's wasted. Go. Out. Neither one of y'all can be in. No, out. The reptile room is a privilege, not a right. If they can't behave, they can't be in here. Screaming, my snakes don't want to hear that. dirtying my water bottle. Now, and obviously I'm not watching because I'm talking. Back to personalities. Each snake's different. If anybody says, oh, males are less or females are less, that's going to vary from time. In the summer, right, your snake may be very chill. In the early spring, late winter, they may be very aggressive. Different times of seasons, they may be feeling some kind of way. If you have a male and a female, the male may smell the female and, want hormones increase, whatnot, so they may get more violent then. But it's not a personality. It's not like, hey, this snake's always violent. It's like, no, they're snappy because they're biologically, or their clock is like saying, hey, you need to go out there, beat up the other animals, and mate, right? So you have that thing going on, but generally speaking, none of my snakes, except for my male, has a personality issue. My male, he does like to bite, but I know that, so I wear the gloves, but also long sleeve, like a sun shirt. When he bites, he'll let go. If I'm just my skin, he'll hold on and wrap for as long as he wants to. They have like pit bull jaws. They do not want to let go, the blackheads. So this is when I'm referring to blackheads. You can see he was in that little corner over there, and now he's stretched out, and his head's right there. So yeah, personality-wise, I find from also the babies I've had, right? So it's not just those two with the babies I've had. Hog Islands are awesome. I would say it's hard to say that they're my favorite because they're not my favorite. I have like emotional favoritism towards my Burmese. But if I was like trying to keep small, they are the coolest. Crawl caves, which I don't keep crawl caves anymore, they're a close contender as well. Cocker caves would then fall number 3, but I kept my cocker caves because they're less common. But Hog Island's one of those snakes, like if I got rid of all my snakes, I would still keep them because they're just, they're really cool. Never apologize. Yeah, dude. That's basically, you gotta prioritize, and being a parent, comes first. So I had to take that break to get them out. And the main reason is I set ground rules of like, hey, you come in here, you can play. I don't know if you can see down there, there's doggy poop bags that I use for spot cleaning. They like to build and stack. Hey! I'll be right back. I'm gonna put them on the other side of the baby gate. Yeah, I was about to put them on the other side of the baby gate. He likes to stack the poop bags up and do different things. Like last week when I was filming, he came in and took one of them, unwrapped it, and put the others inside to make the track of a bulldozer. And I was like, dude, that's spot on. Like, just like a bulldozer's track. That's cool, yeah. But if they start putting them in the water, so luckily there's only this much water left, which would have been like 2, maybe 4 refills, but they put one of the paper tubes in there. So now that's just got to be dumped, but it's okay. I got plenty of water for them. Does he calm down after a while? Are you referring to my son or the snake? If you're referring to my son, yeah, they go like any toddler, up and down, up and down. We actually read, there's this book called, what is it called? The Explosive Child. And it explains like some kids have explosive behavior, and it's kind of your goal as a parent. If you think about a stream, like they're on a stream, and for like best case scenario, you want them to stay in the center of the stream, being very calm and purpose. But as a kid, when they hit the little side, they overcorrect. So now they're hitting both ups and downs, and it's your job to try and to get them back in the center of the stream. If you're talking about the snake coming down from biting me, not really. I basically have to spray like Everclear. I have a little spray bottle that you have to spray on his mouth to get him to release, because he's not coming off if he doesn't want to come off. I mean, you probably could hurt him, but I'm not going to hurt my snake for a bite. Like, it's a snake bite. They're not serious. Their teeth are, like super tiny. So it's not a big deal. I've held on before and waited. I've done the water thing. The only thing I've found that works for him is the alcohol spray. Just a little bit on the sides, and then you get it kind of on your skin and let it rub in there, and he'll let loose. But if you're wearing a long sleeve shirt, especially those sun shirts, I think the mouthfeel of the synthetic fiber ish polyester blend type of stuff, I think that mouthfeel does not feel good. So he'll bite and then he'll like let go. So if I'm taking him outside, if you watch a video or something and you see me handling him, chances are I've purposely put on my sun shirt because I knew I was going to handle him. If I'm moving him from enclosure to enclosure for breeding purposes, or like I went from small to larger, I'm going to just use my welding gloves. So right here, that's because I'm not going to be handling long enough for him to get any further, and then I can control his head top half this way and use regular one. Yeah, I've never been bit or striked at by my hogs, not even the babies. So they're definitely on that side. I'd say they're chill, but once again, I think blackheads get a bad rep, but they are snake eaters, right? And I had a guy came over about 2 months ago when I was rehoming my female Woma. He's a well-known Australian python breeder, and he was explaining, is like, think about it, they're snake eaters, and they're in a room full of lunch, right? Like, all these snakes in here, they smell them, that's their food, so they may naturally be a little bit more aggressive because they're constantly smelling food. So imagine if you're thawing out rats in the room and then taking your snakes out to handle, they're going to be a little bit bitey. And I was like, that's a very accurate statement. So it may not even be personality as much as he's just smelling snakes, Any other questions, Matt? It's been good conversation. You can hear my son sort of starting to come down. He'll probably go back up here in a little bit. But, yeah, while you may be typing something, this one here is a dwarf Burmese python. When I say, and then here's another one over here. You can see her over there in that area. They are my favorite, and they don't stretch out as much as some of my other snakes. They stay kind of in a circular spiral thing, like when they rest. But they're my favorite because it took me so long to get them. And when I was growing up, I had a normal Burmese python. So dwarf just fits better, in my opinion. Like, that's nice. But trying to find them in the U.S. is extremely difficult. So now that I have them, I'm like, these are my favorite because I finally have them. I got them like 3 years ago. And it was honestly really awesome to be able to find them. Because I reached out to so many people's businesses burnt down, so we lost a couple of the major breeders in the U.S. due to fire losses. But there's still a couple. There's one who hasn't came out and said, hey, I got snakes yet, but I know that he's working with them based on other people telling me, like the guy who works with Australian pythons. He knows the guy. He's like, oh, did you get them from him? I was like, no, I didn't even know he had any available. He's like, he works with them. But then the other guy is the only one that I know of that has bred them for the last 7 years now, something like that. Maybe it's been 6, but he's had 2 litters and he's just got a clutch of eggs, third. So now I have to decide, hey, do I get another one? Because, you know, they're nice, but I'm trying not to overdo. I'm trying to keep my numbers down and focus more on more stuff. So like I've been working on buying things to deck out the enclosures and stuff. So like in here, hang on, these have all been cleaned and are ready for me to use for decorating. I've been trying to focus more on the snakes I do have versus buying more, because honestly I would like to have 8-foot enclosures, right? But I don't have space for that right now. So my thought is, don't need more snakes. I need more space for the ones I have. But at least I don't have any like living permanently in tubs anymore. Let's see, priest on a hawk. Yeah, dude, I think that's a perfect first time snake. Like a lot of people say, oh, you need a corn snake for a starter snake, boas or two. Dude, dwarf boas? Now, if you've done your research and you can read like humidity, temperature, feeding, if you can do that for a corn snake, why can't you do it for anything else, right? But handling kind of plays part. But if the snake's chill, you know, and reach out to the breeders, like Eric said, the breeder should be like, yeah, I'm able to handle them, or hey, it's a little bit feisty. I will say a baby is naturally more feisty than the adults. Just think about it. You're small. Yeah, look at my kid out there throwing a fit, right? He's antsy. When he gets older, he's going to be more chill. Same thing as snakes. They got a lot of prey, so, oh, it's not your first snake. It's your first, oh, dude, yeah, dude, you'll be fine. Yeah. But the babies do tend to be a little bit more feisty, but, like, they're not anywhere like, when you hear of a feisty snake, it's not bad. It's mostly just they're being young and protecting themselves. Like, you want a feisty snake? My viper boas, when they're babies, you're getting bit. There's no way around it. You're going to get bit. But their mouths are so small. Like, if you bleed, I'm surprised. They'll bite you, but their teeth are so small that typically they don't even get deep enough in your skin layers to bite and make it bleed. But if it does, it's just like the type of blood where it's like it shows a spot, but it doesn't come up enough to like wipe away. But yeah, those are some feisty little babies. Are there any health or genetic issues to look for in hogs? Not that I know of. Health-wise, healthy snakes. Now, genetic-wise, they are inbred a lot. Like the two that I have are from different breeders, unrelated as far as I know. However, who's to say that they didn't come, like their great-grandparents didn't come from, I think his name's Eugene, who did some of the first imports of them, could, you know, eventually trickle down where that family tree's lost. This isn't like AKC where people keep the history. Your best case scenario is if you know who, like my viper was, for example, I got those wild caught. I bred the parents. I can say, hey, this is from this one and this one. Now, whoever buys the baby, if they keep track and they say, hey, that, right, it makes it easy. But if one person buys one from him and doesn't find out, hey, their grandparents are wild caught and they just breed, right, that information's lost. And you could come back and ask this third person, hey, where's it from? They may go back, this person may not even live anymore. They may not be around to find out who it came from. So unlike AKC, finding that family history tree is not as common. But with Hog Islands, we can't import them. So that island shut off. So there is no fresh bloodlines coming in for that species, or not species, that locality. But that being said, I haven't seen any like, hey, it's obviously like this line has wobble head, or, you know, hey, they always end up having prolapses. I think it's genetic. There's something wrong with their DNA or something. Like, I haven't seen any issues, but I'm only one breeder, and like I said, I only have one pair that's unrelated. There's a lot of other people, so I would say that's a good conversation to have with the breeder that you buy from is, hey, what health concerns should I be aware of with the parents, right? Or do you know anything about the grandparents' health issues? If they don't have anything, probably okay to say that you're not going to have anything to worry about. But animals are animals, right? things come up, you got to take them to the vet if there does. Know where your exotic vet is. It helps. Yeah. Well, you say that. I honestly had no interest in breeding either. I'm just a really big fan of pets. But what's its name? Cutting Edge Herp kind of forces a hard way. Cutting Edge Herp is the reason why I got into breeding, because I wanted Cocker K's and Craw K's. I just wanted male. I just wanted a pet. I loved the look. I loved the pattern. I loved the size. I wanted to build a little enclosure. He would not sell individuals. He only sold pairs. So now, in order to get the snake that I really want, I needed to get 2 snakes. All right, guess I'll get a pair, and I guess I'll breed them, right? So that's kind of where you are. Like, you may not think you want to breed, but then you end up getting a pair or another Hog Island that happens to be opposite sex. Hey, let me see if I can figure this out and do it, right? I guarantee you won't make your money back, but more of like, I don't know, if you like to learn, you like to grow, you like to experiment, like figuring out, hey, what's the right process to breed? Oh, what's the right timelines for them to lay? Like, hey, what is it? Have you calmed down?
Mommy feeding my net.
But get out of here with the lies.
No, Mommy did.
Andy? Mom is upstairs, so that's a lie. When I went out there, she was going up. Anyways, lost concentration. We were talking about hogs breeding, experimenting. So experimenting is fun to me. So learning to breed them and whatnot kind of becomes a thing. But like next year, if you were here earlier in the conversation, I'm taking the entire next year off. Because I don't want to deal with breeding and taking care of babies when I'm planning other stuff. So as a breeder, you're not committed to breed, right? You can breed or you cannot, but it's really, if you enjoy them as pets, you might end up enjoying as breeding. Just know, if you do, it's a big responsibility because they're not guaranteed to sell. You may have that snake for years, and now you have a commitment to care for it. So I think the right approach is, until you're ready, just keep them as pets. They're awesome. What happened? It's like all of the comments went away. That's weird. I definitely know there's more comments, but now it doesn't show that. I wonder what that button does. Oh, no. I remember you said something, I just can't remember what, but now the last thing it says is this is not my first snake, but it would be my first bow, and I know for sure you put more information, so I'm surprised that's not showing up. So I don't remember what your other comments were. But in regards to, okay, I just see a new one. Yeah, that popped up. It's weird that the other ones, because I know you said some other stuff after this would not be my first snake. Maybe it is just that was I read and then I went up. So maybe that's on me. But in regards to breeding, like I was talking about with Cutting Edge Herp would only sell pairs. That does happen in the industry. So when that happens, especially with cockers, craws, you're not going to find too much unrelated. Hogs, there was a large hog, my understanding, a lot of hogs brought in, so there could be separation of bloodlines, but the when he calms down, I'll just, Andy, you need to breathe. I told you he was down, he would come back up. He's back up. What I was saying, I can't think with screaming. It's a great parenting thing. It's like, oh, let me go home. Give me 1 second. Hey. Hey. What are you doing? What are you doing? Pick up these shoes and put them up. Pick up the shoes and put them up. We're not gonna be screaming outside the reptile room. He wants to go sit out in the car and basically sit there. No, he's yeah, he'll recover. He just needs time. He's going to end up getting in trouble though, and when he goes over to his grandparents, he's not going to be able to do anything because he's going to have to sit on the couch without the TV on. That's his favorite thing to do over there, is because we don't do TVs at our house, but they do over there. So it's kind of like a reward. I'm like, no TV if you're going to beat up the paper towels out there right now. Back to the cocker caves and crawl caves. They are not as common, and there's only so many. The only people that I know all got them from Cutting Edge Herp. So they are all inbred, line bred. Yeah, I think Cutting Edge Herp, before he lost his facility, was line breeding. Now, though, it's all brothers and sisters that are breeding, and, you know, their kids breeding one another. So heavily inbred, but they're not, it's not unique to just them. It's definitely happens in other species, as, like, you can't import this species anymore kind of thing happens. You kind of stuck with what you got. I haven't seen any issues with mine, but they're, from my understanding, brother and sisters. Not, you know, their parents were not related. From my understanding. You know, I can only take what I'm given to that, but I haven't seen any issues yet. What else? I grew up catching Western Diamondbacks for antelope. That's cool. Yeah. I haven't seen any rattles here. I live in Texas, down towards Houston area. Haven't came across any rattlesnakes. I know we do have some in the area. All I've ever came across in my yard are water snakes. We do have cottonmouths in the area. We do have coral snakes in the area that are in our neighborhood that neighbors have come across. We just haven't had any issues here. I own 2 gun shop sticks. Oh, okay. What part of Texas? I'd say if you are looking for hogs, probably gonna have to go online, Morph Market, go join some of the hog. There's specifically Hog Island Facebook groups. If you're looking for some sooner rather than later. But if you are looking for hot species, the Conroe herps, they have a huge hot species. I don't work with hots simply because I got kids and I don't want to have any risk, you know. My family is more important to me. But the Conroe Expo has a huge hot vendor selection there. So if you're interested in that handling, yeah, it's not much of a pet thing, but you know, I like to be able to hold my snakes without concern. Do you have a breeder recommended? It really depends on who's available. So Victor LaRuse, he is reliable. I got my mail from him. Great snake. You know, it's one of those things where you don't have to question, like, is this a hog island? Because there's a lot of people that'll sell hog islands and it's not actual hog island, or it's like a sunset morph or something like that. If they say, hey, this is hog anything, don't get it. There is no morphs in hog. It's either a hog island or it's something else. If you're wanting a hog island, stick with just locality. Victor LaRuse is the only one I could recommend off the top of my head. I would say Cutting Edge Herp because I've worked with them. I didn't like some of the conversation that I had. I felt like it was very, you bought my snake, it done, which I did not like. Me personally, I'm like, you're a customer, I should be able to communicate with you as a breeder. It's like when you get a dog from a breeder, that dog, if you get a good dog bred from an AKC breed, they tend to be very much like, hey, how's my dog doing? Or, oh, you want to get into sports, you can communicate with the breeder. I hadn't felt that way with him, but he, as far as I know, doesn't breed anymore. His facility burnt down. So, yeah, Victor LaRue's I would recommend. If you go on the Hog Island website, or the Facebook group, you can see when people post, when they say they have something available, search their name. Go into the history on that group, search their name, see what else they've posted, see what people have commented, see what kind of feedback you can find on the person. If they are new, they probably won't have anything, but what you can do, go check out their Facebook page. Do they have 300 different species that they're working with? If so, I'd probably avoid them because they probably didn't breed the snake. They probably just, got the snake for someone else. It may have been sold to them as a hog eye and they're reselling. I wouldn't mess with them, but if it's like, hey, a quarter of their page has been Hog Islands, or, they're doing a video like this, for example, and like you can see what they're working with, then probably reliable. Not everybody has, 100,000 followers or, a Google review system, but definitely do your due diligence, because last thing you want is to get a Hog Island and then you like post a picture of your favorite little Hog Island snake. Now people's like, oh dude, it's a beautiful snake. And I see that all the time. That's a beautiful snake, but that's not a hog. People get that, especially from reptile shops, like little reptile shops that you have pop up. They'll go there, somebody will sell them a hog, and then it's like, yeah, that's a beautiful snake. And it's a way of saying that's not a hog. It's like the southern, oh, bless your heart thing. Breeders for hogs, that is. Are you better now, bud?
Yeah.
All right, you want a hug?
Can I be in the car while you're doing job?
No, but the car, you'd be too hot. The car, what time is it? It's 9, so we got 2 more hours, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to go play with your Legos? Or, don't stand on my box.
I already did all my Legos.
Okay, well, what about your stuff? Quit picking your nose.
Do you think I could play with the box Lego?
The what Lego?
The Lego. Ew, someone.
Yeah, you got the, what Lego?
The bus Lego, that's up there.
Bus?
The bus, yeah, the Lego, that's a bus. A bus.
I have no clue about that. You can ask Mom. I don't know what the Lego is a bus. You're talking about like the one that Leo got?
Yeah.
You can go ask Mom and Leo. That's Leo's, so you'll have to ask him, alright?
Why not?
Can you pick up these before you go?
Why can't I get the team more?
Oh, the steamroll, the compactor?
Yeah.
I have to go find that. I think that's put up in the closet, but maybe ask me tomorrow while I'm working and I can look for it, okay?
Well, I want
Now, I'm telling you, I'm not getting it today, bud.
I want my Legos.
Well, then go ask Mom for the cement trip. The cement truck. Now put it in the brown box. The cement truck is in my office. You can get it off of the shelf, and
What?
or
But I want
or
to
hey, actually ask Mom if y'all can do the ducks. We have the family of ducks that hasn't been used yet. So go apologize to Mom, give her a hug, and ask her. Say, Daddy said that we could do this if it's okay with you.
The family duck?
Yeah, there's a family of ducks.
A family duck?
That's what I worry about, not getting what I'm sold or as it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's unfortunately it's a thing. That's why I'm like, when I buy, I do the research. And Victor LaRue's, it's not just me. Like when I researched who he was, I was like, okay, he's posted a lot, which doesn't mean much, right? Posts can be, you could just be posting because you're getting, resells. However, a lot of other people have also recommended, meaning a lot of other people have bought from him. You can review him, right? So like me, if you're going to get a Hog Island from me, I've only sold 3. In my entire career, I had 3 that I've sold. So if I wasn't on here, obviously I'm going to say, yes, I am a good person. But if I was not me, right, and I'm trying to figure out, hey, who's Island Likes? Oh, they got a website. That's something. But where are they? There's a couple of reviews on Morph Market, and that's it. So the longer you're in, the more customers you work with, the more reputation you build, the more trustworthy. If they have 0 like you can't find nothing on them, I wouldn't risk it. You know, just wait. Snakes come, but they sell. So, if you wait for like August to November, you're going to see them coming available starting honestly in July. You might start seeing them. And it may be one of those things where you're like, hey, I don't want to risk losing out. This snake does eat live. I'm willing to deal with that because I'm experienced with handling live mice and rats, and I can deal with it. You may take that risk. I did that for my dwarf Burmese. I was like, hey, they're feeding frozen thawed. He said 2 meals. That's not much, but I want them. I'm going to take that risk and go ahead. Let me get them, and I will work them into frozen thawed. I will say if they're not eaten live or frozen thawed and they are early, you may have some room for negotiation. So there's always that. It really depends. Like if I just post a snake, I'm not going to negotiate the price. I don't mind keeping it for a year, but if someone else may be like, oh, it's been a pain in my butt, I can't get it to work right. Yeah, I'm willing to make a deal on it. So there's also that. The market's very strange right now. I would say a fair price is around $750. However, I haven't sold anything this year in hogs. All mine were from 2023, and I sold them, 2024, and I sold them last year in 2025. So this year I'm having some, and I'll probably sell them in 2027. But that being said, I haven't sold in the more recent economics that we have going on. So that could lower the price. But it also depends. If say you reached out to me and I had 20 other people reach out to me saying that they want hogs, and I have 3, okay, I want to keep the price $750. I don't need to worry about that. That's what it is. I know there's demand out there, right? There's no demand. I may sell it for $500. Going less than that, then I start like, hey, would I rather just keep this as my pet? Or even I have cases where I'm like, hey, I have a family member that I know wants a snake. I would rather gift this to someone that I know that's, can't necessarily afford that kind of animal, but does know how to care for them, does take care of them. I'd rather do that and be able to be there for my family and say, oh, yeah, you need some help, let me help you out, show you this or that, right? So sometimes there's that comes into play because a lot of effort goes into snakes, especially for breeders. Resellers, not so much. So a reseller may wholesale, like, hey, I'll buy all 5 hog islands, but I want a $300 discount off of each, right? And then they'll sell it for $100 more, and they just made $500. Sorry. So there's that market going on, but if you're buying directly from the breeder and they're selling individually, not wholesale, they have a lot of time and effort goes into it, so their pricing may vary. But at the end of the day, if you have a snake that is priced at $1,000, the market's saying $750, you're not going to get that $1,000. So it's really, you got to be smart. Like, do you want to sell it or not? Like my trio of Viper boas I showed at the beginning of the call, they're captive born and bred. I'm the only one that I know of that does it. There's one other guy that I worked with, and he basically sold his collection a few years back. It's actually, I think, been 4 years now. He sold his to go back to school and focus on furthering his education. So there's, things like that where I'm selling my captive borns because I've spent years, the older ones were 2021. That's 5 years ago. So I've put a lot of time in them. I'm selling them for what I want. If they don't sell, that's great. I continue having an excuse to grow them up and breed them for second generations. And that's where you look at. If you go on Morph Market and look at Viper boas right now, you'll see Wildcats for $250, $225. You'll see me asking almost, I think, $3,000. It's less than $3,000, but it's like $2,800. I think I'm asking for mine. Obviously, if I'm a person, I'm like, hey, I can take this snake to the vet multiple times and still be below that. I'm selling 3 snakes, though, not just one, so it's not quite the same thing. But that's where the fair price, to me, that's my fair price. the market definitely says that's expensive, but I don't care. I'd rather keep the snake if I can't get that price. So that's what you'll have out there. I will say Victor LaRue's, when I bought mine from him, I want to say it was around $750. I may be off a little bit. It's been years, so I don't remember quite. That's why I'm saying, or no, that's why I sold mine for last year was $750. I think I got him for $650, something like that. I wasn't. Oh, okay, yeah, it's in that range for sure. So it's around there, but I will say they are worth it personally. Like I've spent some money on some snakes. I'm like, I wish I wouldn't have done that. You know, but the Hog Islands, I'm like, I personally think that they're not cheap, but they're not crazy expensive like some snakes, and they are 100% worth it. I don't want to take her out because she's grab it, but I can take my male out and show them off actually. Let me put this tub up real quick so I can not have it right next to him. Wow, I've only got one tub. So I also do hook train, so use a hook. I like these hooks. I know you say you have snakes, but depending on what you have, it may be smaller. These have like a rubbery plastic tip, so if they do bite, it's not metal. But also, I work with them each time, just tap their head, let them know food ain't coming, and then you can grab them. Oh, he's in shed. So you can see he's in blue. If it focuses. Kind of hard to see, but I've been waiting for this because he got bit by a spider on his head about 2 months ago, I think at this point, maybe close to 3. And he shed once, and I'm just waiting for another shed because each shed it gets better. The scab on his head gets a little bit less, but it put me on a killing spree of spiders. I went through the entire room, and there, if you look back at a couple of my previous lives, was like half after I finished cleaning, I'm like, all right, spider hunting time. And I would go around killing spiders. The last couple weeks haven't had as many. I definitely still got to stay on top of it because, you know, I like my pets more than I like the spiders, even if they help control the flies. If you do bioactive, you kind of invite those type of animals in. But yeah, this is my adult male here. He's proven he's a daddy, and yeah, he's in shed, so he's a little bit paler than usual, but he is more orangish than my female. My female has a lot more freckles than him. He's still got freckles. They're kind of hard to see. They're not as common. Hers, she's very freckled. If you know you're looking at things, I would say I like the freckles more, but there's nothing wrong with a less freckled. But they are very cool. I wish he was not in shed so you could see his colors, but yeah. That's also why it's important to review the reader, trust them, and know them, because, or maybe not know them, but like make sure they're reputable, because there is variations between them. Also, the same snake can look different. So you may end up buying a hog, and in the picture he was orange. He may be a little bit more pale white when you get them. They do go up and down in color, which, from my understanding, has to do with they're really trying to get heat or not be hot, so they'll change their color and help absorb heat. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Not a biologist, but I do think it's really cool, and I've personally seen it in my snakes where they'll look different from day to day, just color-wise. Like the spots don't change, right? If they have freckles, the freckles don't go away, but how bright they fire up. And so he fires up really bright when he wants to. My girl does not fire up as bright, but she can get pretty bright. He is a 2019, so he's 7 years now. I think he's going to be 7. I think his birthday is in August. I have to look. I have a spreadsheet with all of my date of births, but I'm pretty sure that's the case for him. And so he's 1, 2, 3. I would say approximately 4 to 4.5 feet if he's stretched out. And as you can see, not fat, but not skinny. So that's how I try to do it. He right now is on a medium rat every 2 weeks. And then, like I said, if he started getting too skinny, I might do a small rat or a small medium. Like, so the medium size, when you buy them in bulk in the frozen packs, they range in weight. So I may go on the smaller side, or I may go on the heftier side, to make sure that he gets that size that I'm expecting. He right now, oh yeah, I answered. He's on frozen thawed medium rats. He has eaten quails and chickens before as well, so that's important. I also have Reptilinks, which he has eaten. I have rabbits. He has not eaten a rabbit, obviously. Still quite small. If I fed him a rabbit, it'd probably be a very young rabbit, which honestly, the nutrients in it would not make sense, to feed to him. So he probably never will get a rabbit just based on his size. But, I'd say rotate the food, but always try to do frozen thawed. How is their metabolism? It's a strong metabolism, I would say, because like the 2 weeks I'm saying, that's average. What I do is I feed more like breeders. So if I'm breeding, I'm doing I'd say from like September to December, I'm feeding more frequently, anywhere from 8 to 10 days range. And then I end up taking 3 months, 2 to 3 months off, really. And then late January, I might throw an extra meal in there for them, depending on how they're looking. But I like to make sure that I have that large block of no food for them, because it kind of mimics the wild, right? There's less food available during the season that they don't have the heavy food. So do heavy food, and then I do light food, and then like right now I'm just doing what I call maintain. So they're doing the every 2 week diet, and then as it gets closer to the winter, even though I'm not breeding them this year, I'm still going to get them in that right pattern where they're heavy fed off of food. And it's worked for me this far. For this, man, I do not know off the top of my head. So one of the things that I did when I first got them started, if you go on my website, I can't access it while I'm on live. On my website, I have the humidities and temperatures for them. But when I first got started, if I can show it in this enclosure. If you look right, so I'm trying to find my fingers. There we go. Right there, there's what looks to be a blue and greenish square. Maybe you can see it a little bit better on this side. There you go. You see that little bluish green square? That is a Bluetooth thermostat, or not thermostat, thermometer, temperature humidifier, hydrometer. There we go. A thermometer and hydrometer, and it also does the dew point and biometric or biospheric pressure monitoring. So when I got started, I set up alerts for that, so it would tell you the alerts, and then I would constantly monitor. Now they're all very stable, so I don't have to do that unless I get an alert for the temperature dropping or raising. But in regards to like, I would come in here with my heat gun, which is now put away. I'd come in and I'd spot check everything. But once you get it down, all you need to know is if it's not working, right? So you'd get an alert if your temperature drops or raises. I use the Hertz steps. They also will beep. If your temperature goes above or below, it'll start beeping. So I don't stress anymore about it because I got the temperature stable. And once you do, you don't really have to memorize that, but you can. I also have cards. I mean, where is my card? Is this one? No. Sorry, I'm looking for a card that I created, which I don't know where I put them because I stopped using them. And I don't see any available. I'm trying to think of where they are. But I created a card that I was using, and what I did was I put because I have different species, I put the species, I put the high heat, the low heat, the ambient temperature, the nighttime temperature, the humidity, nighttime humidity. I did that for all of them, and then I had those on the enclosures. And then once, that was a few years ago, I stopped. I do provide that, so like the last person that bought, I went ahead and printed that and sent that to them because I was like, hey, I got this, why not? But it's also, just, to me, it's on my website, and now I created an app which I don't think you can find anymore in the App Store called Reference or Reptile Reference, and I did that so I would have it mobile with me to check the temperature. So I did it mostly for me, but I put other species on there. But I'd go there, favorite my species, put it at the top, and it would tell me the temperatures that needed to be. I got a ReptiRad 40 and light and programmable control. All right, not familiar with that herps that thermostat, but that's good. That's exactly what I'd recommend is being able to program the time. Another suggestion, I would hold off on lighting, only because of the size of your enclosure. You said your enclosure is going to be a 18 by 18 by 4 foot. If you notice in mine over here, my female down there has lighting. These two do not, and that's why I'm moving them to the bigger enclosures, is depending on what type of lighting you use. If you use just like the LED strips, I thought I read 4x2. Okay, 2x2. Okay, that'll you'd probably want to upgrade that probably within a year to a year and a half. I wouldn't keep. You might get 2 years out of it, honestly, thinking about growth size, but definitely not going to be housing them as an adult. But I wouldn't bother with light in that, except for a little LED strip at most, because on these 4x2s, the LED strip is all that they could handle. The regular LED lighting. Okay. Hang on, Anne. Let me finish my thought process.
Mommy did that what? So I'm gonna ask you what I can put it from my duck.
Okay, yes. Give me about 30 more minutes and I will help get them for you. So, as you can see, I have a plant LED light that's about 19 to 20 inches long. And then I have a Repti cage thing wrapped around it to protect it from getting messed with. But that's a plant full spectrum lighting. But the problem is it gets hot. So you can't have, that going in a 18 or it's going to ruin your temperature. Or if you put it on, like a Herpstat has a way to turn off the lighting or turn on lighting, some of those thermostats do. You do that, it's just going to be flickering, right? Because it's always going to be too hot. So yeah, just be careful with lighting in those smaller enclosures. In the big ones, what I had to do is I put the lighting on the heat side. So you can see my radiant heat panel and then the thermostat back there. That way the heat from the light is contributing to that. And then the cool side is a little darker. So as you can see, it's hard to see him over there because it's darker. These are 5 foot, by the way. This rack right here. It's harder to see him because it's a little darker. But that saves from having to worry about overheating, right?
The pirate out of Hossein fish.
Oh yeah, I'll get the spider web today.
Pirate.
Alright, I'll get it.
We don't want anyone to pass him. He's a big dude.
Okay.
I like
Yeah.
drop killing him.
Yeah, that LED strip's definitely right for that, and that'll help see him. But I would say if you get used to be able to do a bigger 5 foot one, or if you do 4 foot but it's taller, hey, careful with that. Using plant lining for the natural lights work. If you can see, she has a plant down in that corner. Some of my enclosures have real plants, some don't. In an ideal world, the plants would thrive with all snakes. Not all snakes are plant friendly. My dwarf burns, for example, they are small, but they're still big body snakes. They're very round. They like to thresh. Plants don't survive well. My Argentine boas, they don't survive well. The plants don't survive well with them. However, my dwarf boas, they do. So down here, I have my Cocker K, has great plant life. My Kalatoa out in the living room has great plant life. My Kalatoa over here, if you look past the water balls, all of that is real plant life. So they do great, right? They go in between the plants versus just over and on. So it varies by snake, but if you do bioactive and they do destroy the plants, still the dirt and no, do not. The dirt and the roly-polies and earwigs, they help break down the feces and the sheds, and then you're just spot cleaning leftover feces. Like I said earlier, once I get to him, I'm going to be spot cleaning that because it's not bioactive fully, and the dirt's more of a temporary thing. So it's nicer for cleaning up smells than the like wood shavings and stuff, but not fully bioactive like some of my other enclosures. But the plant light is nice because even without it, they now have lighting that's full spectrum that they can soak in. There you go. You get the snake, your wife gets the plants, y'all can work together and have a masterpiece to show off. Both me and my wife are not green thumbs, whatever, but we garden, I do plants here, but it isn't our specialty.
When I was getting too mad, Mommy got too mad, and I know she was about to walk by, and she was about to, and I looked at, and I was looking what she was about to do.
Will
had her hand like this, and did this.
Boy, stop lying.
I'm not lying.
Andy,
I know she did that. I know.
How'd she do that when she's upstairs?
No, she's telling them that the coach them came up with them.
So she had clothes basket in her hands. How did she grab you? With clothes in her hands.
So.
And a baby, because I'm assuming she was also carrying Aaliyah. Your story's falling apart. This is why I don't trust kids. It's like, oh man, my story doesn't make sense anymore. But I'm about to put him up. If you have any more questions, feel free to answer or ask. What I'm going to do is try to get some of the cleaning knocked out, and in between each clean, I'll come and read the comments, and I will answer the questions as I see them. But I do to get Andy, put the light back. Yeah, so this is a male. I unfortunately will not be taking the female out because I don't like disturbing my females while they grab it. But she is Andy. Let me see it. There you go. She is bigger than him by maybe 1/2 foot to 1 foot, but where he is this thick, she is about that thick. So definitely a thicker snake. And I need head. All right, cool. Have a good time. Feed some bear. Oh, that's cool. All right. Hey, thanks for hanging out. This has been fun having an actual conversation. It's what I was hoping to get out of live. So take it easy. Yeah, let me see the hook, bud. Yeah, let me see it. Right, you can go back. You can go back.
Wow.
Here, let me see the hook. What are you doing? Hey, no, you don't get to play with the water because you messed up this water. All right. Good job. All right.
Have a bone in a tail. That tail.
All right. Leo. Out. Come on. Yeah. Tony? 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 Are you up there? Tony? I don't know where Mom is. Where? In the bedroom? Oh. Alright. Okay. Let me. Alright. You want me to get the Legos? You need to pick up all the stuff that you destroyed. And then I'll go get them. So you need to pick up all the stuff in those rooms. That includes these pants and shoes over here. And the diapers that I've already told you multiple times to pick up. What about that shelf? Everything needs to get picked up. Yeah, you can stay out there. And then you shouldn't have knocked it out. Leo, out, come on. Come on. Let's go. You gotta clean up in the living room, did you? Quit whining. You made the mess. Thanks for all the info. No problem. You're not gonna be able to see her. Oh, she's in shed too. Everybody's in shed. Snap it up. There you go. Leo, move. Hey, put it back down. Get out. Let's go. I'm leaving, you're leaving. We're not staying in here. Andy, there's nothing you want from me. You still haven't picked up the things I told you to pick up. Squats. Now. You're not doing the family ducks. You're destroying my stuff.
You don't want to finish your dragon?
No, he's not doing the dragon either. He's lost that opportunity. The lie, that wasn't just him. I saw Leo. You're lying. You're beating up my things. You don't get Legos today. You'll be lucky if you get to watch anything when you get to your grandparents. Because if it's up to me, TV's off. I'm okay with that. Because he has not been acting right. You've been very rude and mean and abusive to things. Why is there a hole in the toilet, the paper towels? Why did you punch and break my paper box? Your attitude is getting you in trouble. Bring me the sun. Don't bite me now. I'm actually going to end my live now because most of the snakes are in shed and I want this to process. I have quite a good amount of information in there. So, yeah, if you're watching later, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and talk with y'all next week.